Welcome to Spurs Focus, your go-to spot for daily Tottenham news, transfers, and match updates. Don't forget to support the channel by hitting that subscribe button now. Let's dive into today's top story. Thomas Frank has provided an update on Lucas Bergvall. The Tottenham Hotspur midfielder was forced to come off in the opening minutes of the 1-0 defeat to Chelsea on Saturday night due to a concussion. He joins a long list of players who are still out of action. Fortunately though, a few big names returned to the matchday squad at the weekend, with Cristiano Romero, Destiny Udogie and Wilson Odobert among those who featured off the bench against the Club World Cup champions. Spurs will be determined to return to winning ways on Tuesday night when they host Copenhagen in the Europa League. So with that being said, Football.London has rounded up all the latest Tottenham injury news. According to the FA's guidelines, after an initial 24 to 48 hour period of relative rest, Bergvall will be allowed to undergo a graduated return to full daily activity. The 19-year-old midfielder will be allowed to train, but at a rate that does not worsen existing symptoms. The FA have a graduated return to play (GRTP) programme, which could keep Bergvall out of action for a minimum of 21 days. The sporting body also have an enhanced care pathway for players over the age of 18, which permits RTP after 12 days or after 7 days so long as exceptional criteria is met. What Frank has said, that was a concussion, so he totally couldn't stay on, and I think the medical team did a good job in that aspect. And even if he wanted to stay on, it's the right decision that he stays on. Of course, we would have loved to have him continue. That's why we picked him in the starting 11. Unfortunately, that couldn't happen. Expected return date, end of November. Gray suffered a calf injury in training ahead of Tottenham's clash against Newcastle United in the Carabao Cup 4th round. 19-year-old midfielder, who was expected to start the tie, has struggled to force himself into Frank's side this season. Expected return date, December. Solanke underwent a minor ankle procedure last month to repair an issue first suffered during pre-season. What Frank has said, he is very aware that we want him back. Hopefully Touchwood have him back, and no setbacks. We are very aware of doing it the right way. It's going in the right direction. He'll not be available before the international break. That's the status now. If he was fit enough, he'd have been involved Wednesday. He's ready to be involved tomorrow. Let's see how much. Expected return date, end of November. Dragusin has recently returned to first-team training as he looks to rebuild his fitness following a serious knee injury. The 23-year-old defender has been sidelined for 9 months, so it could be a while yet until Frank gives him a start. Expected return date, end of November. Davies has been nursing a hamstring injury. The 32-year-old defender was forced to come off in Wales' 4-2 defeat to Belgium in a World Cup qualifier back in October. What Frank has said, Ben has got a hamstring injury, so it'll probably be around 4 or 5 weeks out for him. Expected return date, end of November. Kulusevski had surgery on his knee in May. Frank hopes to welcome the 25-year-old midfielder back to action before the end of the year. What Frank has said, still not on the grass, working very hard to get him fit as quick as possible. Expected return date, December. Bissouma hasn't played for Tottenham yet this season. The 29-year-old midfielder was left out of the squad for the UEFA Super Cup due to disciplinary reasons, and then he suffered an injury while out on international duty with Mali. What Frank has said, Bis, unfortunately, had a situation with the national team. I think everyone saw that, so he got a ligament injury to his ankle that will keep him out for weeks. Expected return date, unknown. Maddison remains out with a knee injury after rupturing his anterior cruciate ligament during a pre-season friendly against Newcastle. The 28-year-old midfielder is expected to miss most, if not all, of the season. Expected return date, end of the season. Takai suffered a plantar fascia injury in his foot shortly after joining Tottenham in the summer. The 21-year-old defender was dealt a slight setback on his road to recovery. What Frank has said, Kota is a quad problem. He's about to be training soon. Expected return date, end of November. Tottenham manager Thomas Frank has been told to back off Igor Thiago. The Brentford striker is in red-hot form this season, and the Bees have made it crystal clear he's not for sale. With 7 goals already and Premier League clubs circling, will Spurs push harder or walk away. Let's dive into the latest transfer drama. Tottenham manager Thomas Frank has been warned to abandon his pursuit of Igor Thiago, with Brentford determined to keep hold of their prized asset. Frank is eager to strengthen his attacking ranks and has reportedly identified Brentford forward Thiago as a prime target. The Brazilian has enjoyed a blistering start to the campaign, netting 7 times in merely 11 outings across all competitions. This form has caught Frank's attention, having previously brought Thiago to Brentford during his tenure as manager in a £30 million switch from Club Brugge. Frank believes Thiago could lead his side's front line for the foreseeable future and prove a massive hit at the North London outfit, reports the Mirror. However, Brentford remains steadfast in their refusal to part with Thiago, making it abundantly clear to all suitors that the 24-year-old is not available. Thiago arrived at Brentford during the summer of 2024 as Ivan Toney's replacement, following the latter's departure to the Saudi Pro League. Yet he featured in only 8 matches last term due to a severe knee injury. Aston Villa and Newcastle have also monitored Thiago's progress, though Brentford boss Keith Andrews was emphatic that no departure would be permitted. I've said over the past few weeks I was really happy when the last transfer window closed, he declared ahead of the Bees' clash with Crystal Palace on Saturday. We're not even in November, so I'm not going to talk about a transfer window that is 2 months away. That will inevitably come closer to the time. Thiago is going absolutely nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. He's a pivotal part of this football club. He doesn't want to go anywhere. That won't be happening. Thiago has been shortlisted for the Premier League Player of the Month for October, and Andrews was questioned on whether he could emulate Brian Mbeumo's feat of netting 20 league goals this season. "I think he wants more, that's what I'm hearing," he responded. He's clearly in a very good place. Great rhythm in his game, playing with confidence, enjoying life. He's been a critical part of what we've done. It's nice to hear that he's been nominated because he deserves it. Andrews added, "He's already shown he can be a top performer in the Premier League. He gives the opposition a headache, the way he plays the game. I'm not sure many players will relish playing against him. He's very demanding of himself. Some players you have to push, and some players you have to rein in. He's definitely the latter. He's in a great place, and we want to keep him there. He's very, very determined to achieve things. As a team, first and foremost. But by doing that, he will also achieve things as an individual. It's the selfless way he approaches games. You see how hard he works for the team. And then from that, his goals. Different types of goals. He's really settled into a groove, and his teammates are loving playing with him. It's just been about getting him into that rhythm and building those relationships, which I constantly speak about. We've been seeing that a lot more often in recent weeks.